What's good, everyone? This is Dr. Darko. Make sure you hit the subscribe button below so that you're always up to date on the new uploads as well as alerts on this show. The other thing that you can do to help build this community is make sure you leave a comment below. Let us know what you like, what you don't like about the show, and ultimately, let us know who's winning these arguments, because I need to know that I'm beating Renee in these debates. Run the tape. Yo, what's good, everyone? It is Dr. Nee. I'm joined by my lovely wife and co-host,
Dr. Renee. It's been a long time.
So we've been putting out episodes, y'all, but sometimes we batch the episodes and we record maybe 4 or 5 episodes ahead of when they're coming up. So it's been a minute since me and you have recorded together. I feel like we should be doing a full episode, but we don't have time to do a full episode. But just listen, y'all, we're going to be coming with an episode about what's going on with the CEO shooting in New York City and then being caught in Central PA in our backyard, our old backyard. Then we're going to be talking about, what else we got to talk about? There's a lot of stuff to really talk about that we're not going to address, I'm saying. But we just know there's a lot going on.
So you doing this episode?
Yeah, I'm doing this episode. Guys, y'all don't know. Renee, constantly wants to do an episode by herself.
I did. You told me I was going to be doing this episode. And I said to you, I know what's going to happen. As soon as you hit record, you're going to just take over. So I don't even know why you ever tell me, oh, you're going to run this episode.
That's not true.
I'm not running this episode.
Guys, did I take over this episode?
You just introduced everything and said what we're going to be talking about.
But there's other ways that you can take over an episode, like your effervescence, your energy, your the way in which the way you speak so well.
No.
Guys, you know what I'm talking about, right?
No.
All right. So what's this episode about, y'all?
Oh, now you want my opinion?
What's this episode about?
Anywho, so we're not going to be talking about any of that just yet. You're correct. We might just touch on it a little bit. But today, actually, what we're going to be talking about is the residency interview, since we are in the midst of the residency interview season. And, when we talk about medicine, particularly medical careers, I think it's important to kind of not start from scratch, because that would be going all the way back to pre-med, but definitely go back a little bit into time and address kind of some of the things that I think we've all either experienced as physicians or are going to experience as
I'd have to
physicians.
say whether it was applying to medical school, applying to residency, getting ready for the interview was the last thing I prepared for.
Oh yeah,
I never even thought about it. I was just like, well, I mean, if they're inviting me, then I'm 75% of the way there, and I'll just be myself.
Yeah,
hence why I got rejected from all school.
From medical school, you mean?
The first time I applied, I had a couple of interviews. I probably destroyed them because of my interview.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think people take for granted.
Can you talk yourself out?
What do you mean?
Can you talk yourself out of a position?
Absolutely. Yeah. That's why they invite you, right? Mm-hmm. I think you're right. It's one of the last things that people prepare for, not realizing exactly how important it is. And you're right. You're about 75%, if not more, there, right? To the finish line. They just want to establish, are you crazy? That's for medical school. For residency, it might be a little bit different because there are so few spots in comparison to the sheer number of interviews that, that they give. And you're just you're competing on a whole different level. And then you add the added dynamic of the algorithm for the match. Okay. So I think that one's, the residency interview is a little bit different. Just a little bit different, but you still could potentially talk yourself.
But how do you know if you talked yourself out, right? Basically what I'm saying is if you are applying to medical school, you get an interview, obviously they are interested in you. How do you know that the reason you got waitlisted or the reason why you didn't get in was because of your interview?
You might not. That's what I'm saying, the difference
you just never
between
know.
medical school and the residency interview, right? It's just very different because you have that match component. Mm-hmm. So, but anyway, we're going to be talking about that residency interview. We got a question from Vincent O. And I believe he is, I don't know what he says. I don't think he says what.
He doesn't say what
level,
he is.
Yeah, what level he is.
But he does leave a question.
That. Yeah, he does leave a question. But before we get to that question, just wanted to kind of update our audience as to what the heck is going on up here with the Darkos. So what you been up to, Dr. Nee? Oh, that's the dramatic pause that I said that you were going to take. So now you taking it?
Yeah.
Okay. What you been up to?
What do you mean what I've been up to?
Don't give these
why
people
you asking
dead
me?
air.
Why? You got to learn how to live and breathe in the dead air.
No, don't give people dead air. What you been up to?
There's been a lot that I've been up to. So.
Yeah.
Without sounding, listen, y'all, like,
life be lifing.
If you're watching on YouTube right now, you know that you probably could see the veins in my head just engorged on the side of my head because there's a lot of stuff that's going on. We purchased a house, and I am 90% happy about it and 10% not happy about it. Not because of the house, but of the process of getting the house. And I'm how like there's that 80-20 rule, right? Like with relationships, and there's like, you kind of look at the 80-20 just in life, right? Like you have something that gives you 80% joy. Why are you focusing on the 20% of something that you're really neither going to attain or is really not really worth trying to go after it, right? So for me, like I'm 90%, 95% happy that we got this house, but there's just one small little thing that happened to us during the process of closing that I'm super pissed about.
Yeah.
And
we're going to talk about that on another episode.
Yeah, we'll talk about another episode, but it's just...
we still have some things to resolve.
But we homeowners. I'm excited about it. For me, there's a couple of things. It's bittersweet because... I feel happy to be in this neighborhood, like I mentioned in the previous episode. I'm super psyched about that. I'm happy to set some roots in one place and to be in a school district that we feel comfortable to put our kids in. I'm happy about that. The other side is me. I'm not happy about these damn house prices. Shit. In all essence, I feel like we have a regular house, but anybody who is used to living in a high cost of living neighborhood knows what we're talking about. Like, a regular, 3.5 bedroom or 4 bedroom, 2 bath type spot is mad loot. And just because you're paying a large amount of money doesn't mean that it looks like it's a large amount of money in the house, if you know what I mean. So that's one thing that's going on. So we're super psyched about that.
Yeah. I think,
Oh, let me fix your microphone while you're talking.
I'm with you on the house. They're just, we definitely have to talk about it on a different episode about just kind of the process of buying a house and the potential to have strife with a seller, and even with your own attorney. So that we will need to talk about a little bit later on. Other things that are going on. So I think we talked about this on the show before, but that I spent a month in a Canadian hospital.
Yeah.
With my mom. We talked about it very briefly. It feels like a while ago, but it really wasn't. Yeah. It was a little bit more than, we're going on like 2 months ago.
Long story short, the healthcare experience, I think for you was a shocker. Right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's
certain
positive.
Things that were
I don't know if it's positive or if it's negative, but it's just not the way in which you're used to the way in which you guys would be used to seeing in the United States.
Yeah. There were certain things that were shocking and other things that were kind of refreshing. Very quickly, I will just say that 2 things. I'm going to mention 2 things. So one was that there was a communal bathroom. So there was not a bathroom in the room. Right. And this is an admitted patient post-op. There was no bathroom in the room. Now, that was kind of weird at first, but then I realized it was actually to my mother's advantage. My mother was the one that was admitted. It was to her advantage because it forced her to walk. Right. We're always all ambulate the patient. It's like, you come in, you ask the patient, did you ambulate? Did you walk? And they're like, yeah, I walked to the bathroom. You look at the bathroom. It's like 2 steps away. You're like, okay, that's not walking. But my mother had to walk all the way down the hall and then walk all the way back. So that was definitely a plus. Whereas I thought it started out as a minus. It really was a plus. And then the other thing was that the pharmacist came to her bedside. The pharmacist showed up twice at her bedside to confirm meds, to change meds, to basically take care of her meds. And I was like, what are you doing here? I literally asked the pharmacist, what are you doing here? And she was like, yeah, we come and we just, take care of some things. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And now, I'll mention one more thing. They bathe the patients.
What do you mean they bathe them?
They sent somebody every day for like the first 3 days while my mother still had her Folian. If you had a Folian, they came in and they bathed you. They bathed you.
In your, like a bird bath? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
They came in and they bathed you. I don't think they do that very often in U.S. hospitals anymore.
They do. It's just, in my experience, it's you have to ask for that type of treatment. The pharmacist, I've seen that. I think in trauma you see that more often because you see pharmacists either in the ED, you see pharmacists in critical care. And depending on, what the resources of the hospital is, like you'll see that on the floor also. So I'm not completely shocked about that.
Okay.
The communal part, I wonder if that's just a really old hospital.
It might be.
Before.
It might be.
Even though like nowadays you go to the hospitals in the United States, like the big thing now is just one person per room and there's a bathroom there.
Right.
But decades ago, which most hospitals are still in, it's 2 people per hospital
she had 2
sharing
people.
a bathroom. But I think before that is, depending on where in Canada you're at, it's a communal bathroom probably.
Yeah.
So
it was a pretty old hospital. The hospital looked like something out of 1973, actually, even before St. Elsewhere. So that was really interesting. But thankfully mom is doing fine. And,
travel insurance, everyone. Make sure you get it.
Make sure you get travel insurance.
Don't leave home without travel insurance.
Yes.
I used to think that it was not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
And then we started getting it maybe about we definitely got it for
Ghana.
We got it for our trip to our honeymoon trip, right? We got travel insurance when we were going to New Zealand, Bali, and Australia, because there were places that we were going to that you just didn't know. Like we were going to the outback, and it's like, well, what if I get appendicitis out there? What are we going to do? But even then, I was like, man, it's a waste of money. We don't even need this. And then once we started going to Ghana, specifically with the kids, with our firstborn, that's when we were like, let's get travel insurance. And this opportunity was one of those get
travel insurance.
Your mom should have had travel insurance.
Thank goodness she has Medicare because she is elder. So Medicare, covers, well, at least her plan. I don't know if it's all of Medicare, but it covers international. So luckily, even without the travel insurance, she did well. But I just started thinking because my brother was out there with them. And I was like, oh my God, what if this had happened to my brother? So, because he is not quite elder yet and he would have needed travel insurance. But anyway, that's what's been going. That's only a glimpse of what's been going on. There's a lot going on in the household, out in the world. You mentioned the thing with the United Healthcare CEO and potentially finding the killer in Altoona, where we lived for 6 years. So that was a little bit of a shocker. And so
when we get into this question.
I'm running this episode.
Yeah, let's jump into this episode.
I'm running the episode.
Gotcha. Go ahead.
Relax. So anyway, we're going to jump into this question.